All right, here we are, part 2 of introduction build series. We have a truck. What you're looking at here is what happens when your Dodge Ram spends a little too much time in New Jersey. That is where this truck came from. I believe it was a plow truck. I'm not really sure. It has a plow book and some rigged up, look like maybe a hydraulic pump mount. But the hydraulics and everything, plow parts are all gone. But this is it. As you can see, we peeled the bed off like a sardine can because it's quite rusted. Quite rusted. But it's here. It runs good. I drove it about 45 minutes home. Sketchiest thing I've ever done. They had this screwed to the floor for some extra support. And then the bed liner in on top of it. But I did. I drove it home. About 45-minute drive. Probably took me about an hour. Fuel tank fell out because rust. Like I say, it's quite bad. The frame is mostly solid, except for a place over here. And it's just bad enough that I'm deeming I'm gonna get a new frame. And you can see right down here, this whole lower section of this frame, right where the back of the cab meets the bed, is just not that solid. Everything else looks okay. There's another bad place there, but I don't think that's too good, so we're gonna deem it no good. The cab itself, no good. There's some rust there. It's rusted out in the back of the cab. Maybe had a window leak at one time or another. And it's just completely gone. Rockers are gone. I'm not messing with it. Floorboard gone through. I mean, it's bad. There's no floor there really. That's supposed to be sitting on metal. But here's the interior. It's a 94 model. They have had some electrical problems with it, but it only has 148,000. And I believe it. It does run good. Here's part of a bracketry I think was for maybe a plow. The dash busted like most of them. The interior itself is pretty decent, other than the dash. Tiny rip in the seat there, nothing crazy. The rest of the interior is alright. But I didn't buy this truck for the body or the frame. Bought it for the axles. They'll need a lot of cleaning up and whatnot. But I got front and rear axles. It is an automatic. And I bought it for this glorious 12 valve Cummins. It's got the P-pump. Looks as stock as it could be. Still has a factory air box. It's going to need a lot of electrical work. I don't know. The headlights didn't work. We had to rig up a headlight to drive it. I didn't do all this, but it's got grounds and positives and reds going into yellows, and I mean, it's a mess. It's going to have to be redone. That's where I'm hoping most of the body wiring, as far as headlights, interior stuff, is the same as in that truck, because that truck's mint. It's got good wiring, and this truck too, but that one, I'm hoping all of that's mostly the same. And I'm hoping the engine wiring harness is good, because that's all I really need off of this truck. The engine wiring harness. Computer is stuffed over behind the airbox. To me it looks all good. This looks like they mainly had headlight electrical problems. The radio doesn't work either. I just noticed this. I don't know what this little box is. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. But here's also what I'm talking about. I thought it was a plow truck. It's got this custom mount. I imagine maybe something sit here because there's another pulley on the crank down there. You can just kind of see the outline of it. I'm pretty sure none of that's factory. But either way, we won't be needing this. But that's what I'm thinking. It's what I think. Why it's so rusty, why it's so salty with as low of miles as it does. I don't know exactly how long it's been sitting. Not roadworthy. Doesn't have brakes. Has a rigged up fuel system. It run and it made it home with the fuel tank strapped up under the bed. But like all of the factory lines, I assume have rusted through. There's factory lines. And they've just run rubber hoses to replace the rusted out factory lines. No brakes. I did drive it. It had just a hair touch of brakes, enough that I felt safe enough driving it. And I went slow, took my time. We made it here without incident. But this is it. As a refresher, I'm planning on finding a frame, taking the axles out, wiring. I'm gonna take that cab, some body parts off of that, put it on the frame with this engine, transmission, transfer case, axles, and hopefully put it all together into one truck. I traded that truck, I traded a Ford Ranger for that truck there, the one I'm parting out. Had a blown up 318 with almost 400,000 miles. It's in the previous video, I went over it. Then we have this truck. So that's my plan. This is not going to be a quick, 2-3 month job and it's done running, driving. I don't have the money to just jump in like that. It's not going to be a total restoration either. I'm going to clean it up best I can. Keep everything as good as I can keep it. But it's not going to be a restoration. I'm not doing a frame off restoration mint show truck. This is going to be something I can drive. I'm going to make it run and drive reliably. And then once that occurs, we will focus more on appearances. I'd rather be running and driving and it be, maroon cab, and the doors are good enough to use. Maroon cab, white doors, white hood. Fenders are rotted out more than I really like, so I'll find some different ones of those. But all of this axle spring stuff's gonna have to be cleaned up, maybe replaced, but we'll see. Here it is, the '94 Cummins.